I had been single for a while, and like many others, I decided to try my luck with online dating. Tinder seemed like a good place to start. I swiped through countless profiles until I came across hers. Jenna. She had an aura of perfection about her. Beautiful, intelligent, and our conversations flowed effortlessly. After a week of chatting, we decided to meet in person. She invited me to her house for dinner, and although it seemed a bit forward, I didn't think much of it. I was just excited to finally meet her. The night of our date, I drove to her place, a quaint little house on the outskirts of town. It was charming, with a well-kept garden and a cozy porch. I knocked on the door, and she opened it almost immediately, greeting me with a warm smile. Jenna looked even more stunning in person, and I felt my nerves settle a bit. She invited me in, and the house was just as charming on the inside as it was on the outside. We started with some small talk and a glass of wine in the living room. As we chatted, I couldn't help but notice little things that seemed off. For one, there were no family photos or personal decorations. The house felt almost too perfect, like a staged setup. But I brushed it off, thinking I was just being paranoid. Jenna had prepared a homemade meal, and we moved to the dining room. The food was delicious, but I noticed she kept glancing towards the hallway. Her eyes would dart there every few minutes, and it made me uneasy. I asked her if everything was all right, and she smiled, saying she thought she heard something, but it was probably just the house settling. As dinner progressed, she started asking more personal questions. They were harmless at first, but then she asked about my family, specifically about my relationship with my parents. I told her it was good, which seemed to please her. She smiled and said it was important to have strong family bonds. The way she said it, though, sent a chill down my spine. After dinner, she offered to show me around the house. We walked through the rooms, and she pointed out various antiques and knickknacks. When we reached the basement door, she hesitated. She said it was just a storage area and not very interesting. But her reluctance made me curious. I asked if I could see it, and she reluctantly agreed. The basement was dark and cold, with a musty smell that made me want to leave immediately. Jenna fumbled with the light switch, and when the lights flickered on, I saw something that made my blood run cold. There, tied to two chairs in the corner of the basement, were two bodies. They were an elderly man and woman, and from the looks of it, they had been dead for some time. Their skin was pale, and their bodies were beginning to decompose. I stumbled back, horrified, but Jenna blocked my way. She had a strange, calm expression on her face. She explained that they were her parents and that she had killed them because they never approved of her dating choices. She said she had been looking for someone suitable, someone they would be proud of, and she thought I might be the one. I tried to keep my composure, thinking of a way to get out of there. I told her I needed to use the restroom, and she reluctantly let me go back upstairs. My heart was pounding in my chest as I locked the bathroom door behind me. I pulled out my phone and texted a friend, asking them to call the police. Just then I heard her footsteps approaching the bathroom door. She knocked gently, asking if I was all right. I told her I wasn't feeling well and needed a moment. She said she understood and walked away. I waited a few more minutes, then slowly opened the door, trying to stay as quiet as possible. I crept through the hallway, making my way to the front door. Just as I reached it, Jenna appeared behind me, holding a kitchen knife. She looked calm, almost serene, and she told me that if I left, she would have to find someone else who might not be as perfect for her parents. In that moment, I did the only thing I could think of. I ran. I bolted out the door and didn't stop until I reached my car. I fumbled with the keys, my hands shaking, and finally managed to start the engine. As I sped away, I saw her standing on the porch watching me with that same calm expression. The police arrived shortly after and arrested her. They found more evidence in the basement, photos of other men she had dated, notes about their families, and even a list of potential future victims. It turned out she had been doing this for years, looking for the perfect partner that her dead parents would approve of. I've never used a dating app since. The memory of that night still haunts me. Every time I think about it, I can still see her standing there, watching me with those cold, calculating eyes. I thought I was looking for love, but instead I found a nightmare.